Hi folks, it's Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates. This is the third installment of the triangulation videos. This video is called How Do You Stop Triangling? Well, number one, you have to have the insight and self-knowledge and self-awareness of what is vulnerable sharing and what is triangulation. And I would say that you have to be pretty advanced in your recovery to know the difference. If your therapist is suggesting that you're triangling, you're probably triangling. But that's the first thing with any addiction or any unhealthy behavior. You have to see it before you can fix it. I know I entitled the video How to Stop Triangling because I know that's what people would ask, but there's a problem with how questions. Recovery isn't just tell me how to do it, then I'll have it, and then I got it, and then I'll quit doing it, or I'll do something healthy. How questions really, for the most part, aren't very helpful because we could describe how to be healthy, but if you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to be healthy. So how do you stop triangling? You work hard on your recovery process. You become an individuated person, an interdependent person. You, as an interdependent person, you never feel victimized. If you feel hurt and victimized, you go stand in a mirror and you have a meeting with the source of the problem, and that would be yourself. You don't go look for a third party and bitch and complain to the third party about another third party, when ironically, the problem is you. If somebody screws me over, it seems to me at the time, I realized nobody has the power to screw me over unless I didn't recognize who they were. I didn't set boundaries. Something in me needed to be fed by them. I was naive. I trusted people I shouldn't have trusted. I go back and I use the pain as a learning opportunity, and I fix the problem, which is me. But I don't play the victim role, and I don't go bitch and complain to a third party, which would make me feel good, but it wouldn't be the truth, and it wouldn't help me get any better. Interdependent people are loyal. Loyal. What a wonderful word, loyal. Interdependent people have your back. Interdependent people, when somebody comes and tries to triangle to them, they say, listen, it seems like you're starting to triangle. If you have an issue with Mark, go talk to Mark. Why are you talking to me? I'm not in charge of Mark. Interdependent people don't need flying monkeys because they simply don't have a lot of dogs and very many hunts. They don't have agendas. Their agenda is to be humble, be healthy, be kind, be authentic, be giving, be loving, heal their wounds, be fair, have integrity. That's their agenda. They're not after power. They're not after seduction. They're not after money. They're not after jealousy. Um, uh, they're not stung by shame. They're not driven by abandonment issues. So they don't need to be right. They don't care if you agree with them. They don't care if you think they're cool. They don't care if you think they're powerful. They know who they are. That's the power of being individuated, of being comfortable in your own skin. in order for you to shift out of doing triangling, you're going to have to shift out of victim mentality. To do this, you're going to have to understand that in your relationships, you're never victimized. You might be traumatized by a narcissist, but I assure you, you've never been victimized by one. Nobody made you pick them. Nobody made you marry them. Nobody made you stay married to them for 10 years. Who did that? You did. So come to our channel, YouTube channel that you're on right now. We have a whole section called a playlist called Uprooting Victim Mentality. There's probably 200 or 300 videos on there. Watch those until your eyes and your ears bleed. Uprooting victim mentality. If you have victim mentality, you're going to be a venter, you're going to be a triangler, you're going to be a trainer of flying monkeys, and you're going to act like a narcissist, frankly. When you're being reactive and you're acting undifferentiated, you sort of are acting narcissistic. I'm not saying you are a narcissist, but I'm saying that's what the behavior looks like. It's taking the low road. You know, we all sometimes slip and vent and triangle a little bit, but individuated people rarely triangle. They simply go directly to the person that they need to discuss the problem with. If that person is unsafe, if they're a narcissist or a bully or a thug, you just walk away. Your power is in your feet, not in your tongue. You can't talk with somebody like that because they're not going to hear you. And venting to a third party makes you feel better, but it doesn't make anything better. But if you hold on to your hurt, if you hold on to your anger, then it'll activate your feet and you can walk right out of Dodge and you can get away. If that person isn't respecting you, if that person is harming you, why are you there? If you stay there, take the bad behavior and then ventilate off your pain, then you feel better and you go back and you take some more lumps. And then you ventilate it off and you go back. It actually keeps you in the relationship. So if you hold on to your anger, then these boots are made for walking, and that's just what I'm going to do. One of these days, I'm going to walk right away from you. Who is that? Nancy, what's her name? Famous song from the 60s. Stephen Covey said, if you want to help somebody quickly, change how they think, change their worldview, change their paradigm. So another book you could read that's a good paradigm shifter is Getting the Love You Want by Harville Hendrix. Will help you understand that there are no victims in marriage. And really any of the videos on marital issues on Family Tree's YouTube channel. So people come to therapy and I tell them there's three things that'll engage me in the process of therapy. And it's not, their therapy isn't my job. After I've correctly assessed them by doing a genogram over 4 or 5 generations, and I've given them an hour and a half or a 2-hour feedback session where I've cut into them and just nailed it and hit a grand slam, my responsibility for their recovery is I'll show up for the appointment, but then they have to bring some keys. I'm like the ignition to a car. So if I'm on my 11th hour of doing therapy, it's late, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'd rather be watching football. But if you'll bring the keys to the ignition, it'll rev me up and we'll have a killer session. So here's the three keys. One is bring your pain. When you're venting about another party, you're not bringing your pain, you're avoiding your pain. So come in and be vulnerable and talk from the heart and cry tears and own your own issues and spill your guts. When you're venting, you're pushing the hearer away. You're repelling them like a magnet that's flipped around. You're pushing them away. But when you're vulnerable, you're drawing that person close to you. And when you're vulnerable in a therapy session, it activates the therapist. The second thing that will activate me in a therapy session is a really good question, a well thought out question about the pertinent matters of the issue. That'll just rev me up and you'll get all kinds of answers. But if you're venting and bitching about a third party, I got nothing for you. I'm not God. I'm not in charge of changing your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or somebody at work. I'm not in charge of that at all. You know, the only person that you got a shot at changing is yourself. That's the only person that you even have the slightest bit of a shot. And you got a good shot if you get out of victim mentality, you see a really talented therapist, and you commit yourself to recovery for a lifetime. So, triangling people are bitter, they're resentful, they're negative, they're nasty, they're mean, they're disloyal. People who are individuated are vulnerable, they're sweet, they have gratitude. They walk around with gratitude, and they have a great deal of empathy for their partners, for their coworkers, for their clients, for their children. They are loving, caring. They're not innocent people. They're not stupid people. They're not naive people. They know what the world is like. But they walk around with gratitude and with vulnerability. And from their end, they don't have any enemies in the world because they've not done anything to build an enemy, and they're not doing anything to keep the feud up. Now, they might have enemies because they might be targeted by a narcissist or two or three or 10 or 20, especially if one or two of them are going around inventing and triangling. But a person who's individuated, they walk around with serenity. They know that they can have serenity about things they cannot change. They'll have courage to change the things that they can, but then they'll have the wisdom to know the difference. So if you want to stop triangling, get healthy, get individuated, get vulnerable, get your focus off of the bad guy and get your focus on the real problem, which is you and your family of origin issues, your family of origin wounds. So I'm going to pack up the car, head to Indiana, wish me safe travels. My wife and I have, from my wonderful brother, midfield tickets, 5 seats up, to watch my Dallas Cowboys play the Colts in Indianapolis tomorrow. And I'm going to have all the Cowboys regalia on that I can fit on my body and watch the Cowboys whoop the Colts' behinds. So if you haven't joined our channel, please subscribe. You'll be notified every other Tuesday evening of our live stream show, which is a wonderful community of people you can message back and forth, and it's very supportive and it's wonderful. And Jerry Wise comes every 6 weeks and drops knowledge, and Renda sometimes hosts the show, and I host the show. Also on our website, familytreecounseling.com, I've got some wonderful books on narcissistic abuse recovery, on shame, on abandonment. You can also get those on Amazon Kindle. Thank you for watching today. In order to quit triangling, you got to see it. And I hope this 3-part video series has helped you see it, help you see how dangerous it is, and helps you to get in recovery and live a life of gratitude instead of a life of venting and triangulating and backstabbing. Thank you for watching. God bless.